Good afternoon and welcome to Just Jocelyn. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and today is, in my opinion, a lot of news going on throughout the world, and so seems to be a lot of opinions, like noses, everybody has one, on the California fires. I have family out there, I have a lot of friends out there, I have fellow hosts and everybody out there that have been giving me firsthand information. I've also gone on all the social media, Truth Social, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, I've been there. Why? Because you want to get a smattering of everything. Do your homework. Get the information, do some back research on it, and there you are. So here's my, in my opinion, my take on what's going on. So years ago, Donald J. Trump warned Gavin Newsom. I do have another name for him, but I'm going to behave today. And warned him about his lousy, inferior, garbage forestry practices and procedures. Well, what's that mean? Doesn't clear out the trees that fall down, doesn't clear out the overgrown brush, doesn't do backburns, doesn't make sure that there's corridors where the fire can't jump. Oh, I don't know. Making sure the water supplies are up to date, making sure that there's not overgrown brush on the electrical wires and telephone poles, etc., which is really that company's job. But still, as governor, he should be making sure the mayors and everybody beneath him are doing their job. But it didn't. And Trump warned him about it, multiple videos about it and pictures. He actually went so far as to tell him that in speaking with the president of Finland, I think he was a president, whatever, the head of Finland, they are a forest nation, a nation of a lot of trees. And they all year long, nonstop, continually clean up the forests. So if there's a fire, there's not a lot of brush and stuff to burn. Told him years ago. And, what does Gavin say? Well, I want the president. Caught himself in a little, pickle there. The president-elect come here and see the magnitude of what's going on. He doesn't need to go there and see the magnitude of what's going on there because when Biden was there last Tuesday, they shut down the airports and all the airspace. Nobody could fly. Well, guess what? That meant none of the airplanes or the helicopters could fly over with precious water and flame retardant chemicals. Why? Because Biden was there, hampering one of the most important days of stopping the fire. So no, Trump isn't going to go there. Number one, he ain't the president yet. He's president-elect. He's been certified. We just need the inauguration on Monday, January the 20th. But it isn't up to him right now. And I'm 100% sure he's up to date on exactly what's going on. So that was that conversation. Then Gavin went on to do multiple political interviews where he said, we need to access the truth and facts. Why? They're not self-evident? They're not right there for you? Or is something else going on? I've got to get the truth out. Well, I'm pretty sure that all the videos are showing what's there. Or what are we missing, Gavin? I'm not interested in blaming anybody. Really? You're not interested in blaming anybody? Because I'm pretty darn sure there's an awful lot of fingers going around. But what I see, Gavin, is you doing this, and that means when you point at one person, there's three pointing back at you. And we all know what that means. Your grandmother should have taught you that. We need access. We need this. We need that. You're the freaking governor of California. And you were the, what do they call it? Lieutenant governor before that. What, Nancy, your auntie, Nancy Pelosi, hasn't been helping you enough? Yeah. Disgusting. So, That said, again, we have, oh yes, domestic extremist, he's calling. Angry Gavin Newsom demands an investigation to know who the has been running California for the past 5 years. Newsflash, you, Gavin, you've been running California for 5 years. And again, lieutenant governor before that. It's up to you. Your lousy leadership, 12,000 structures destroyed, 25 people dead so far, 40,000 acres burned, including P. Diddy's and the gal from The View, Whoopi Goldberg, just to name a few. I'm not wondering that, the tunnels underneath their houses didn't join up. It's one of the worst fires in California, LA, since 1907. Look it up. And right while Biden was visiting and closing down the airspace, he was caught on a hot mic saying, "Did you notice when you fly over with a helicopter, those houses, those places, those cars with blue roofs or blue paint didn't burn. Everything around them burnt to a crisp, but anything that had a blue roof or blue paint, including the blue trash cans, did not burn. We got to change that." We've got to change that. Change it so nobody can have blue roofs. I wonder why that is. Well, I did a little investigation. And again, in my opinion of my investigation, they knew exactly which homes would burn, those who were intimately involved in this, and canceled their fire insurance policies right before. Well, they would then be the insurance companies, wouldn't it? Why did State Farm cancel 2,000 policies in Pacific Palisades right before the fires? And how did they know exactly what neighborhoods would be burnt down? It's the same thing that happened in Florida a couple months ago. Flood insurance was canceled. Same thing, North Carolina. What is going on? Let's move on to other issues. Empty reservoirs, empty water basins. Oh, but Jocelyn, you need to understand it's been bone dry. For the past 2 years, it's rained so much, people were praying for it to stop raining. And oh, by the way, most of the water for California, Southern California, comes from up north, from the snowfall in the mountains, and it comes down through the mountains and canals that have been built over the years. And the canals fill the water reservoirs, the water basins. And then the water basins fill the water hydrants. And the water basins are supposed to go directly to the farmers, of which only 10% of their acreage is being used because of lack of water. Why? Oh, because the water's being diverted. Well, what do you mean it's being diverted? It's going into water basins. Not necessarily, because 2/3 of the water is actually being diverted into the ocean. Yep, I said that. 2/3 of the water from Northern California is being diverted off into the ocean. So everybody in Southern California is not getting the amount of water, and the farmers are not. I wonder why that is. Ever wonder about that? Here's a serious issue. When you're supposed to have reservoirs full of water to fight fires, what happened? Why do the firefighters not know that there's low pressure in the fire hydrants? Why do the firefighters not know that the reservoir 1,000 feet from the Palisades, was empty? Whoa, Jocelyn, you need to understand, it was getting fixed. That reservoir was getting fixed. Fixed? Well, there's cover on these reservoirs because they don't want bird poop and all sorts of stuff, because that's the cleaner water. Well, there was a rip in the cover. But Jocelyn, they had to drain that reservoir. 117 million gallons of water in the Palisades Basin. Empty. Well, they did it. They couldn't have known we were going to have fires. Well, that's BS, because there's always problems with that. And they were actually warned that the Santa Ana winds were going to be extraordinarily high this year, this January, which is not normal, but it does happen, but not normal. And the mayor went to Africa. After saying, I'll never leave when there's a problem, she left. In addition, the head of the fire department, what, you never had anybody go check the reservoir? You never had your guys check the fire hydrants? What's wrong with you? Oh, that's right. You were too busy doing DEI hires. But anyway, they emptied the water reservoir when, do a little digging, 1 year before this fire. Why wasn't the cover repaired and the water put back into the reservoir? There is a lot of finger pointing to be had. The mayor, $750,000 a year. She earns double to the President of the United States. Where's she been? Where's she been? Whining and crying in the background, that's for sure. Not making sure that the police chief and the fire chief and the DOT and all these people are doing their job in her city. $750,000, that's $750,000. Yeah. So the people of California need to wake up. And yeah, we need to pray, but you also need to hold these people accountable, because there's a lesson to be learned here. Where are your taxes going? $750,000 salary is one. I don't have the salary of the fire chief, but it would be interesting to find out what they all earn. But this is where extreme authoritarian government, AKA socialism, AKA whatever you want to call it, of the modern Democratic Party and the extreme left, that's what they've left you with. Exorbitant taxes and a fire department that apparently doesn't work properly, and water that you are paying for that is non-existent. Non-existent. The Palisades Reservoir was offline and empty when the firestorm exploded. 117 million gallons. And again, we go back to Trump. We go back to many experts. Why does Southern California, have no water? It's not allowed to flow normally down. It's routed into the Pacific Ocean, millions of gallons. Why? Well, there's this little fish that Gavin Newsom allowed California to burn over because he wanted to save it. This has been for years. This is why he diverted the water. It's for a little fish called a smelt. I smelt something. Do you smelt something? Little fishy here. It's called the smelt. And we have got, what did I say? Where was it? Let me go back to here. 12,000 structures destroyed, 25 people dead, 40,000 acres burned for a smelt. I'm smelling something fishy. Let's have a little update on the status. It's from family, right there, because we don't always get the same news coming across the wires that they get directly there. Palisades, percentage of fire contained, about 16%. And that's 15,000 acres. Eaton, 10,600 acres. Hearst, 505 acres. Lydia, 80 acres, 80. Woodley, 30 acres. And they're all in this nice little diamond, little circle here. and, super close to a bunch of the beaches, Simi Valley, Pomona, Rancho, Anaheim, Long Beach is down just a little bit. Pretty significant. All for you to find. Easy to find. I could find it. You could find it. Here's, let me give you breaking news. Kind of like, North Carolina, where they found lithium and gold and a few other things deep beneath. Lithium plant just discovered by Los Angeles fire officials in the fire areas. You can't make this up. Hello, can you say Maui 2.0? Is this another land grab? They don't care about you, and they don't care about your home. They don't care. This is sickening. Well, New York Post. Here we go. New York Post. LA millionaires shell out $2,000 an hour for private firefighters. $2,000. You want to talk about privilege? But how come the super rich, wealthy, they didn't have water? How come they didn't have sprinklers and all sorts of fire apparatus? Oh, that's right. There was no water. The reservoir was empty. And last, but not least, millions of dollars cut from the budgets. The firefighters that were all let go, severed, fired, because they wouldn't take the jab during COVID. And what did the fire chief said? Oh, this was priceless. What did she say? She said something to the effect of, well, we need to make sure I have, this many openings. I have to hire all these people. And we need to make sure that you feel comfortable when someone comes to rescue, that they're just like you. What, a human being? 2 arms, 2 legs? That when you dial 911, there's somebody going to come there to help you? She even went so far as one person had said to her, well, what if somebody comes and they're small and they can't pick up my husband? And her comment was, well, if your husband's stuck in a fire, you shouldn't have been there to begin with. What? The ignorance is epic. So just a few other little numbers for you. American citizens in Maui, which is Hawaii, North Carolina, and now California, here's $750. Don't spend it all in one place. By the way, it's a loan, and you've got to report it to the IRS. $750 each, they have to report to the IRS. But what did Joey B do? $500 million to the Ukraine, more. We're at about $500 billion at this point. But he just gave them another $500 million. He just gave the Taliban, and has been, $40 million per week. Canada gets $87 billion with a B per year. That's your money and my money. That's all the taxpayers' money. And when absolutely atrocious, horrendous events happen, they give you $750. But you heard those numbers of what they give to other countries. Again, there you go. Oh, San Diego County supervisors, okay, $20 million from FEMA, which is what would help those people in California, for the Migrant Welcome Center. Well, they're not migrants, because migrants come and go. They're seasonal, and they take their money back and forth, and they go back and forth seasonally. These are illegals, not migrants. All right, so that's enough on the fires. Want to change gears just quick, because there's just so much going on. Don't know if you've been watching the Congress and the committees questioning the incoming administration's chosen people for Trump's administration. So Pocahontas there, Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, Pocahontas, she's the one that did the test, the DNA test, and said, had been filling out all her applications for years and years that she was Native American. It was like 0.04. I have more Native American in me than she did. And I don't say that. But how many places and spots did she take from actual Native Americans for lying? So she, yesterday, in questioning Pete Hegseth, she says, and I quote, "You are quite sure every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years, but you're not willing to make that same pledge?" Instantly, the answer from Pete was, "I'm not a general, Senator." Yep, there you go, Lizzie Busy Warren. Know your facts. And oh, by the way, the current head of the defense was only out of the military for 6 years. And they put him in that administrative position. So, pot calling kettle black? Yeah. Another exciting outburst. Senator Mullen exposed the double standards as they attacked Pete Hegseth qualifications. They accused him of sexual inappropriate behavior, that he's drunk, that he's this, that he's that, with no evidence. But let's revisit $18.2 million congressional slush fund that they all dip into when they have sexual inappropriate behaviors and accusations. Guess where the $18.2 million comes from? You and me, the taxpayer. And guess what? We're not allowed to know the names. But what did they just do? Fully exposed Pete Hegseth, who's not even part of the administration, that had nothing to do with the slush fund. And oh, by the way, it did go to court. It was investigated, and it was found to be 100% untruthful. Yep. So Senator Mullins actually threw a monkey wrench right in to the Senate's sanctimonious facade and blathering on. He shattered their moral superiority. They love to live there. Quick to judge Pete with baseless accusations. It's all drama. It's all a show so that they can go back to their constituents and say, more money, pick me, elect me so I can do more of this garbage. Yeah. And what was really funny is one of the senators said, well, he cheated, he drank, and he's not qualified. He's one of the most qualified people out of anybody that's gone before him. And Senator Mullen said, how many of you drink, cheat on your wives, so therefore not qualified to be sitting in the seat you are in right now? Boom. Mic drop. So there you go. Today, they have Pam Bondi, the former AG in Florida. Yeah. Let's see. And that's not, from what I can tell, hasn't gone too badly, but I got to go back and watch. Yesterday, Tim Kaine. Can anybody answer me what happened to Tim Kaine's hair? I'm pretty sure he stuck his finger in a socket because his hair's standing up on end. And he was kind of slurring his words, so I'll let you go back and make a decision for yourself. But, you know, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, that man has got more qualifications in his baby finger than anybody. Oh, this just came out. I just got that as I was whipping through. So back to the fire, with the Mayor Bass, Karen Bass. Here's a few things going to blow your mind. 1983, the Capitol was bombed. They're saying that she was the ringleader. Don't know. Go look it up yourself. Just came over. Interesting. It was carried out by a left-wing group called M19. The M19 was radicalized by the South Los Angeles Brigade, Venceremos Brigade. The South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade was founded by Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. That just came across in the news. Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Mazie Hirono. She is the senator from Hawaii. She said to Pam Bondi, illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation. Do you agree with this statement? Pam Bondi said, I went to the border and visited the rape, or one of the rape crisis centers. It was horrific. So I'm sure you've been to the border as well, and you can answer that. Hirono goes, I'm going to the next question. They don't like people that can give it back as good as they give. And that's what we're talking about. Just double checking here. I'm just going through X, making sure nothing else came up. Next time I'm going to talk about Greenland and all those other things. Here we go. Karen Bass, the mayor, cut the LA Fire Department budget by $17 million. Yep. And it's exactly 17 months after the Maui fires. And the reservoir holds 117 gallons. And the fires broke out on January 7th, 1/7. It's an awful lot of 17s. I wonder what that means. All right, everybody. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope I gave you a nice smattering of all the different reports and stories from social media, that I'm not just making it up. It is, in my opinion, what I choose. So have a fabulous day. Do your own research, educate yourself, and stop watching the tell-lie vision. Do your own work. Have a great day.